the IG live. And oh, here she is. Oh, good.
Hey,
Hey, girl.
we had a technological glitch there.
Yeah, I was figuring that. We're getting this figured out. So good to see you. I was just telling everybody what we do each month and how we get this going and what we talk about. So let's jump right into it.
Okay.
First of all, we were going to talk about what we did last month, and I kind of started to say that. So last month, I took a little tray and a candle pedestal, and I showed you how to do this project. I have a blog post for it too, but I just want to show everybody what it turned out to be. Isn't that the cutest little thing? So it was a wooden tray, and this was the ugliest green candlestick you've ever seen. We painted it up. You can go back and watch that live. You can go over to my website, reinventeddelaware.com, and you're going to see this project. It's really fun. And Anna, I think you have a project for us this month, don't you?
Yes, I have an update. But first, I just want to say, you know how to fix avocado green like nobody.
I know. Who would ever guess? You guys have to go see the before. It's hysterical.
That was straight from 1972.
Yes. Yeah, well, I can't wait to see your update. It was on a dresser, right?
Yeah, so I painted like a small chest of drawers, and I put a lot of work into it. I sanded it, you know, I did all the prep work. I wiped it down with a degreaser, everything you're supposed to do. And I put milk paint on it. And I love milk paint because it provides texture. You know, it's not just, most paints, they're great if you want just like a smooth, consistent finish, but I like milk paint because it's unpredictable and because it gives your furniture and your products texture. And most paints just don't do that. So anyways, I painted the chest of drawers, and the drawers itself, the fronts of the drawers just were extremely chippy. Like the paint was just like flaking off, not like in a good way. It was like too much chipping. So I decided, you know, I just really wasn't happy with the way it looked. Everything else, you know, the top and the sides was perfect. It worked really well. So I took the drawers out and re-sanded them. I, you know, wiped them down. I used the degreaser again, and I repainted them again. So I'm going to have to move my camera because my setup isn't great here. But I'm going to show you what it looks like now. So it looks a lot better. Can you see it?
Oh, wow.
Let's see, I'll do that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so there's still some chipping, which gives it that character and texture, but it looks, it doesn't look like it's having a bad hair day anymore, you know? So yeah, so that's the update. And I think it's important too, because, you know, well, you probably can't see me very well. The milk paint doesn't always do what you expect it to do, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, even though we do this all the time, for us, things don't even work out the way we expect them to. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's always a roll of the dice, and you just got to figure out how to move forward.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you really took that, you know, you really took that project and fixed it up. So I'm thinking that you had the before shot on your blog. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. I wrote an after post of it. So now I'm going to have to write another after post.
To tell people where to find that post at.
Yeah, so if you go to www.skylarkhouse.com and just click on my blog, you can scroll down and you will find it right there. You can also find a picture of it on my Instagram grid as well. Okay, so if you want to just quickly pop over there, you can see it as well.
Yeah, so the pic that I did is on my Instagram as well. So I can't remember if I showed the before and after on my Instagram. I don't remember, but you could always see it on the blog post. And you have a project today for us too, right?
Right.
Let's see it. Let's hear about it.
So I'm going to use milk paint again, but I'm going to try to have to move my camera. So you guys, you know, I always forget that when we have these little live sessions, I only get half a screen. So Cindy, can you tell me, can you see that?
Yeah, we can see that. I have to go down just a little bit more. Oh, I just lost it. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's good.
So it's always a little tricky to set things up so people
Yes,
right?
It is.
Okay, so talking about texture, right? a lot of times I find architectural salvage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you find it, it doesn't look so pretty. Like this, right?
Yes, I love
You know,
it.
not my favorite colors, the wood looks a little rough. Normally, I prefer architectural salvage to look like this, right?
Oh, nice. Yes.
Right? You want that patina and texture and character. Um, so here, let me show you another one. So here's another one. This is a huge corbel, and you can see that it has layers of paint on it. It kind of has the chippiness to it. So that's typically what we look for when we get architectural salvage.
Yes,
So,
I love that piece. Wow.
so what I wanted to show you today was how to turn something like this, because I picked this up for just a few dollars at an architectural salvage yard. And so this was also originally looked like this piece here.
Oh my goodness, such a difference.
Yeah, so all I did is, so you can see it has the texture. I'm trying to kind of zoom in so you guys can get an idea as to what it looks like. So it has that texture and character that I like. So that's one of the things I use milk paint for. So I'm going to walk behind the desk now.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Oh yeah, I see you perfectly.
Okay. So I already have my paint mixed up here. You just want to stir it a little bit.
So let me just say, milk paint comes, it's dry form, like it's a powder, and you do equal parts, for the most part, equal parts water and paint. Is that right?
That's correct. Thank you for saying that. And then I always try to go for a consistency that looks like pancake batter. That's kind of what I go for. And the other thing that's really important is to try to let it sit for 30 minutes before you use it, because it just really needs that time to thicken up and to really break down all of the powder that's in the paint. So for this particular piece here, the not pretty piece, you can see it's basically been sanded. So all of the super loose pieces of paint have, been sanded off. There's still some layers, which is okay, because when you paint over, it'll give you that great texture. And then I just basically, wiped it down and made sure there was no grease or anything oily on it. So with that, all you do is you apply your paint.
Anna, can you hold that up just a little bit? I'm afraid the words are, yes, I see that.
Okay.
Perfect.
So, and let me go show you. So I'm painting over some of the part that still has that old red paint on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to bring it over to the camera so you guys can see what it'll.
That's such an iconic color that you've chosen, because a lot of times when you would see this kind of gingerbread or corbels or the the post, what would we call it, columns, they would be painted in that white. So that's really a perfect color for it. What is the name of the color that you chose?
And I also, it's farmhouse white, which
Okay.
I'm guilty of using all the time.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous white.
Yes. But the other things, I think these were originally porch columns. And then there were parts, so they were originally probably like 8 feet long. And there were parts that were not good. So these were just cut down into portions where the parts were good. And these are great. First of all, you can use them on their own in like bookcases. They look great. But they're also great as risers. So you can use them to put candles on. You can use them to put a vase of flowers on. There's all kinds of different things you can use them for, which, make things look pretty and functional.
Yeah, I love that. And what a great way to kind of restore a piece of history that otherwise would wind up in the trash.
Right.
But yet we're able, when you take something like this, especially talking about cutting it down, because who's going to use an 8-foot column, to decorate with? That might be a little challenging, but cutting it up into sections. So how tall do you think yours is?
This piece right here, I'm going to guess it's probably about 1 foot tall.
Nice.
So I'm going to bring it over so you guys can see what it looks like. It's still a little bit wet. but can you see where the paint is still being applied?
Yes.
Areas that were previously painted. So right now you can't tell because it's a little bit wet, but when it dries, it'll give it a very nice kind of texture and patina.
Wow. And all you did to prep it was, well, what did you do to prep it? Remind me.
So I sanded it, so just like with a random orbit sander, and then did some hand sanding in the creases. And then I made sure there was no like oil or grease or anything on it, so I went over it with a degreaser.
Nice.
Thread cutter, that's the one that's my degreaser of choice. But you can use 409, there's all kinds of things you can use. Even Dawn. No, not Dawn, Dawn.
Okay. So we're gonna wrap up here in a few minutes. We try to just hold everybody for about 15 minutes. So a couple of really quick questions, okay?
Sure.
How many coats of paint are you gonna put on there to get the look of the other one, like you have the other one?
At least 2, probably 3.
Okay. Is it gonna chip on its own, or do you have to help it along?
You don't know. It's milk paint. It has a mind of its own.
Okay. So you let it do its thing, and if you need to chip it off a little bit more, you can do that. Sometimes I've used a knife to chip off.
Right. What is that called? Like a scraper.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the last question for this piece in particular, are you going to seal it?
Yeah, I always seal stuff. This I'm only going to seal with a wax because it's not going to get a lot of use. Usually, you know, if it's a tabletop or a stool or something, then I will seal it with a water-based polyacrylic. But for this, I'll use just a wax and seal it that way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So everybody can go over to your website and they can see some really cool ideas, because I think I saw a blog post about this over on your website.
Yes.
And it has ideas of how to use this in their homes, right?
Correct. Yeah. And I wrote a blog post about this piece that I did already.
Okay.
So you see some additional ideas of how I used it and what the process was to get this particular look.
Well, that is so cool. Well, Anna, this was a great project. I think people could very easily do a little bit of thrifting and antiquing and find something like this and make it for themselves. It would be so much fun.
Yeah, definitely. It's great. It's fun. It's easy. And it's useful. So yeah, nothing bad about it.
Nothing bad about it. No. Well, listen, say the name of your website again.
It's skylarkhouse.com. And what's the name of your website?
Reinventeddelaware.com. You can see our project, and we have other projects over there. And I know that you do as well. And we're going to do this again next month, right?
That's right. All
awesome.
right, guys. Thanks so much.
We'll see you. Bye-bye.